morning, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sport Your Enthusiasm podcast. I am your humble host, Bryce Benjamin, and this is your weekly podcast about all your favorite sports, topics, and events. And I have my co-host back today who's been out for the last couple of episodes with knee tendonitis, my man Ed Jessie.
Hey, what I do, man? What I do?
Oh, man. Y'all should have heard the beginning of this show. I messed up about 2 or 3 times. So this is about the 4th time we started this intro. But anywho, we're going to get past
They ain't going to know about this.
Yeah.
It's going to be another one.
It probably is. It probably is. Oh, man. So on today's episode, just to give y'all the rundown real quick, we're going to talk a little bit of NFL football. Just had the combine past us this past weekend. Discussed that a little bit. NFL free agency will be kicking off this upcoming week, the 12th or the 13th. I can't remember exactly which day, but that's going to be coming up. We're going to touch on that. And then do a little NBA talk. What's going on with LeBron James and the LA Lakers, man? I've been wanting to talk about that for the last couple of weeks, so dive into that a little bit. And then also discuss UFC 235 that happened this past week. So, should be a pretty good show. But before we get into that, Ed, what's going on with you, man? How you been?
Hey, man, I'm all right. I'm pretty good, man. I'm full of energy. I had my shot at home. Now I got my coffee in me.
Yeah, maybe that's what I need. Maybe I need a coffee. I've been fucking up the last 2 times starting this damn show, man.
It's all right. We gonna make this pod pass rock out, son.
Wow. Pod pass, yeah. I said that. All right, so we're gonna start this show off. Last night was some fake breaking news.
Mm-hmm.
It was reported by several sources, Ian Rappaport, Adam Schefter, the main 2 that I was following, that the Buffalo Bills was working on a trade with the Pittsburgh Steelers to acquire all-pro wide receiver Antonio Brown.
Which that portion was true.
That portion was true. And then later that night, Antonio Brown on his Instagram said that fake news.
Right.
That report was fake news. And then as the night progressed, talks fell through. Trade is dead. And the Bills pulled out, for lack of a better phrase. So,
right.
I was following it last night. I was at the gym. I was on my phone. I put it in the chat. I was tweeting about it. Got text a couple of Bills fans that I know just to get their opinions on it. But yeah, it doesn't look like Antonio Brown's coming to Buffalo. So I thought it was kind of funny, actually. I ain't gonna lie. Bills fans got it rough. Like
yeah, for real.
Yeah, that was kind of fucked up.
I got a statement here by the GM Brandon Bean. We inquired about Antonio Brown on Tuesday and kept talks open with the Steelers. We had positive discussions, but ultimately it didn't make sense for either side. As great as a player as Antonio Brown is, we have moved on and our focus is on free agency. So I'm not sure if it was just maybe they wanted too much. Maybe they wanted, that number. What do they got? That 8,
number
10,
9,
something. Okay, yeah, the number 9 plus some other things. Maybe they wanted somebody in return, like Zay Jones or something that they probably wanted somebody that they probably covet. They probably wanted Hughes. Good. The theories are endless. On what the Steelers wanted back. Because I'm pretty confident off the rip it was that 9th overall pick, which I'm probably sure they may have been okay with giving that up if it was just straight pick for Brown. But either way, is it not getting done is okay depending on what they get in free agency. There's a few viable options out there. Not a standout number one great receiver such as him, but they have other holes they need to fill, and them giving up a lot for a 30-year-old receiver who, albeit is the most productive receiver in the NFL, doesn't really make sense to pull that trigger. I feel like that's not the missing piece for that team. They need to focus on the line. So I'm okay with that deal not getting done, just because I don't want them to give up too much.
Yeah, my thoughts on it, and then my theory on it in terms of why the trade broke down. Plain and simple, Antonio Brown didn't want to come to Buffalo. I'm thinking that from what I was reading on Twitter from various different reporters, they were saying that Antonio Brown was threatening to retire if this trade was to be conducted. And hey, it makes all the sense in the world. So from what I was reading, Daniel Jeremiah from NFL Network, he posted that he wouldn't be surprised if the trade that was going to happen was that Buffalo and Pittsburgh swap first round picks, and then probably Buffalo included a future maybe high second round or combination of second and fourth or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think Buffalo. I'm going to give Buffalo GM credit. I don't think he would be stupid enough to trade the 9th overall pick for a 31-year-old wide receiver who is pretty much on the tail end of his prime. Even though, like I said, I tweeted last night that I think Brown should at least have 3, maybe 4 more Pro Bowl caliber seasons. But trading the number 9 overall pick just for that, well, I wouldn't have been too smart.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's what I was hearing, man. Antonio Brown said that was not thrilled about going to Buffalo and playing here, and threatened to retire. So basically, Buffalo would have made that trade. I wonder how that would have worked if Buffalo would have pulled that trigger, and Antonio Brown did pull that shit where he just said, you know what, shit, I ain't going up to no damn Buffalo, and then just called it quits. Do they like just lose out on whatever they traded? Or
once the deal is finalized, yeah.
Yeesh. Yeah, that would have been messy. That would have been a messy
I don't know
situation.
I don't remember what the date is for deals to get officially done, but I know, yeah, once a deal is officially done and he was a part of the team and he retired because of that, then yeah, they would have just been asked out.
That would have been real messy. I would kind of like to see what would have happened. That would have been kind of funny. But I'm sorry, Buffalo fans, man. It looks like you guys were going to get one of the top 5 receivers in the league for a while. I was texting a couple of guys, and they was excited. And I was excited for the city of Buffalo. It would have been nice to address the wide receiver position, which is a dire need. So you would have brought in literally a top 5 wide receiver for your young quarterback, and I think that would have allowed them to focus on rebuilding this horde offensive line and give their young quarterback some protection. But well, they got to go to Plan B, whatever that is. So there's a couple, like you said earlier, there's a couple of decent wide receivers in free agency, so they can make that move. And then also they have the number 9 pick, which is going to be in striking range of the kid DK Metcalf, who literally blew up the combine this past weekend. So yeah, that could be a potential move. We're gonna share our thoughts on that. Don't yet. I want to get. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. All right, but listen, man, we got free agency coming up.
Oh wait, we ain't gonna talk about the other moves.
The other moves.
Yeah,
what other moves?
Case Keenum was traded.
Oh yeah. If you want to talk about Case Keenum, go ahead, man.
I mean,
if you want to waste your time with that shit,
what you mean? That's not a liable thing.
That's news. It's not really much to talk about.
I mean,
whoever asked about Case Keenum, like whoever says like, I wonder where Case Keenum gonna go.
They did last year.
After he led the Vikings to the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, that was nice. He had a very productive year
for the Vikings.
Yeah,
that defense carried him, and he had a manageable season. Case Keenum is not newsworthy.
He was top 10.
But go ahead, talk your shit. Talk your shit, King.
I'm just saying it's news.
He got traded for a 6th round pick, and then on top of that, the Broncos had to throw in a 7th rounder to go with it for them to make that trade.
And they got to pay half of the salary and the $500,000 of the bonus, of the signing bonus.
That's how bad Case Keenum is.
But I don't know. I don't got nothing.
Yeah.
Because they still say he got to compete with Colt McCoy for the starting job. They're not just going to hand it to him.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's tough.
So
I try.
Yeah, hey man, I respect your effort. I respect the effort, man. But
we gotta talk about it.
For those who are not mention it. For those who are not informed, nobody gives a fuck about Case Keenum.
Damn, at least one Washington Redskins fan got to listen to this shit.
I guarantee Case Keenum.
Help him out.
Case Keenum jersey does not get sold.
Come on, man. Once what's that running back name? Once Juice come back, man.
Get well, Alex.
They be all right, man.
Get well.
They be all right.
All right, so
that's cold.
The free agency starting up this week. I believe it's either 12th or 13th. I should have got my date right, but whatever. I want to talk about the players that got franchise tagged. Yeah, it's a funny morning today, y'all. You got to bear with us, man. We getting through it. I want to talk about the players that got franchise tagged, and there's pretty much all defensive players. Pretty much the top 10 free agents that's available, right? Yeah, pretty much. So the tagged free agent players were starting off DeMarcus Lawrence, the defensive end for the Dallas Cowboys, Jadeveon Clowney, the outside linebacker / end for the Texans, D Ford, the pass rusher from the Kansas City Chiefs, Grady Jarrett, your boy, from the Atlanta Falcons, Frank Clark, pass rusher from the Seattle Seahawks, and then last, but the only offensive players, or special teams, I should say, Robbie Globe, from the kicker from the 49ers. So those are all the tagged players this year. Notable player that really didn't get tagged this year, C.J. Mosley from the Baltimore Ravens. And then there's another one that didn't get tagged. Trey Flowers, defensive end from the New England Patriots. Earl Thomas didn't get tagged. And Nick Foles. Nick Foles is another one that the Eagles decided not to place the franchise tag on, which I kind of see coming. That's not really
surprising.
Right. But yeah, those were the tag players. I kind of figured like a lot of I called the Frank Clark one, or excuse me, the DeMarcus Lawrence one. You don't just let a pass rusher like that leave for nothing. I kind of figured he'll get tagged. Clowney, I kind of figure he'll get tagged. D Ford, I kind of figure he'll get tagged. Grady Jarrett, I understand why they tagged him. Frank Clark, I didn't really look too much into him.
Had a breakout year this year, man.
Okay, that makes sense. And then the kicker.
Out.
What's your thoughts on it, Ned?
The Lawrence one is the most surprising one because he kind of had the Le'Veon Bell approach going on. He was like, I'm not playing under a second franchise tag. So I'm really interested to see how that breaks down because he said he did not want to play if he gets franchise tagged again. So, I mean, we see it's worked out for Le'Veon because I guess he got to take a year off and hopefully, it pans out and he gets whatever he feels he's worthy of. But Lawrence he has less wear and tear on his body. He's a very productive DE, so he's worth the money. I don't see why they wouldn't long term it. I really hate the fact that they can do a second year franchise, but I mean, hey man, power to the team, So I hope they can work a deal out because you don't let something like that just walk. So.
Yeah, that's the exact reason why.
But he deserves his money, so I hope they can work something out because he did say he wants to stay in Dallas. So hopefully they could work out, even if it's like a 4-year deal, something where he getting paid and both sides can be happy.
Yeah, that's the exact reason why they tagged him. You got an elite pass rusher on your hands who's literally going to be in his prime for the next 4 or 5 years. He's going to be 27 at the start of the season. You don't let that just walk for nothing. So they placed a tag on him, and even